Hey guys, just wanted to touch base with everyone that asked me to help them with setting up their printer on a Mac. I know there's a lot of information for Windows people and they're always telling you to use an ICC profile. I know we don't use those profiles. I think our setup is a little bit easier if you go through the process. It all comes down to just making sure you have the right drivers, the right settings, and it should work the same with Affinity, shortcuts a lot, Photoshop, and even Silhouette to a point. So just wanted to go through everything with you guys real quick, just as I stated I would. Sorry it took so long to get this video out to you. First and foremost, I'm going to go to System Preferences, bring those up, and go to Printers and Scanners. As you can see, I have several printers here. And I have renamed one of my Epson 7710s Sublimation. I wanted to make sure that I didn't get that confused with the other 7710 I have here, as I only use that for inkjet, which is for Nina paper, 3G paper, transfers onto dark garments and cotton. So we use those for different things, and we're going to be going strictly with the Sublimation printer this morning. One of the ways I can tell they're different is if you go to Kind, if you see right in the middle of the screen there, let me bring this over. You see it's a 7710 series, and this works with 7720, 6710, 6720. There's several other Epson Workforce printers that this works for. But my regular inkjet printer is all set up for AirPrint. And AirPrint is for your iPads and phones so they can print directly to that. And that's our standard inkjet printer with regular ink in it. So my daughter has printing for school or anything like that, she can still AirPrint right to that from her iPad. Let's go back over to the Sublimation printer. And one of the things you want to look at first is Options and Supplies. Click on that. We check the driver version, make sure it's a 10 dot something or higher. We want to make sure that we are not selecting use generic printer features. And we're going to go over to the options. In this options page, I'm pretty sure I left everything standard except for high-speed printing. I turned it off. Your results may vary on this. I've had plenty of people say I leave high-speed printing on, I have no problems at all. And then there's other people that have lines in their print because the printer is trying to print way too fast and it's not covering everything and saturating the ink. And they've turned off the high-speed printing, and that solved that problem. So if you've got some white lines and people keep telling you do a nozzle check, it's not a nozzle check, guys. There's other things. You can print a purge file, which is usually more beneficial than a nozzle check, and sometimes that high-speed printing fixes that. One other thing you want to check if you have lines is that your printer heads are aligned. Do that alignment real quick. All those three things should help you get your printing back to normal. So if by chance you go to this Options and Supplies page and you have a driver version 2 dot something, that's probably the standard driver that came with OS X. So what you want to do is bring up Safari or whichever you use and do a quick Google search for the drivers for whatever model Epson you are using. Obviously I have a 7710, so I did a Google search for that. And I like to go to the support page because it's usually where all the drivers are. I'm going to click on that. And as you can see, we scroll down. Here's your downloads section. You go to downloads. Recommended for you, drivers and utilities combo. You can use the plain drivers. Just use this printer driver if you want. That's the one that Angelo recommends. I use the combo because I use the scanner driver, the fax utility, the OCR component, any of that stuff I will use with my standard 7710 that I use with regular ink. So use whatever you feel pertinent. I know if you use this combo package, it will not hurt your output, it will not hurt your computer, it will not be harder to configure. You'll just have extra stuff on your computer that you don't absolutely need. So make sure your operating system is set to OS X, whichever one you have. It should detect it. If it doesn't, make sure you select it. So there you are. Go ahead and hit download, install it. I don't go over that install process. Just click through everything like you normally would install a program. You guys should be pretty familiar with that kind of stuff by now. So go ahead and install that, and then we're going to get over to Affinity Photo. We're going to start with that one. Let me bring up Affinity Photo. You see a picture of my dog here. Her name is Diva. And we're going to go to File, Print. First thing you want to do is make sure you select the proper printer if you have several. I'm going to go to my Sublimation printer. And I'm going to change this to default settings just so you guys will see, I should see exactly what you guys see. All right. Paper size, US letter on here. I have Super B in here, so I'm going to change this to Super B, 13 by 19. I'm going to go down to color matching. That's the next one I need to worry about. Make sure it says Epson Color Controls, not Color Sync. You want Epson Color Controls right there. Print settings. Paper source should be the paper cassette. Media type. There's several media types that we use when we sublimate. You have to find out which one works best for you, for your printer, and your design. They're going to change, guys. I personally have used plain paper, copy paper, I think it's called multi-purpose paper by Hammermill, and it is really not a big difference to me over like A-Sub, or I think I have Flower of Life paper right now. But if you use sublimation paper, unless you're doing a photo, I can't really tell a difference. I mean, it's so slight that it's not a big deal. So I will use plain paper, bright white paper. If you're doing a photo, you can go to high quality paint paper or go to premium presentation paper matte. A lot of people like this paper matte. It does a great job with sublimation. And then your print quality, that's important. I leave it to normal. The reason I leave it to normal is, number one, it prints a little bit faster. And number two, it doesn't leave oversaturated ink on the paper. A lot of people go up to quality, but I felt quality took literally 5 to 7 minutes to print a 13 by 19 image. Once I heat pressed whatever image I had on a garment, it had enough ink to do another full print and not be washed out. And then I could even do a third that gave a little faded vintage look, but still not completely washed out. To me, that's a waste of ink. When I print normal, I don't see an image difference with my first press, so I just leave it at that. Another thing that you definitely want to pay attention to is on the bottom here, mirror image. Just click that and it will automatically mirror the image for you. And then the next important thing is color options. I keep that at manual. You hit advanced settings. You want to change it from Epson Vivid to Adobe RGB. A lot of people, again, leave these settings alone. Give it a try, guys. Leave it as is first. If you need to adjust anything, a few of the things that I would suggest adjusting first, your brightness. If you got a super dark image, bring it up to like 5. I wouldn't go too high at first. A little at a time. Keep doing your tests. You're going to waste some ink. You're going to waste some garments. If you can, get yourself to Michael's or Joann's Fabric or even Walmart and get 100% polyester and something to print on. It's going to be a lot cheaper to do some test prints on that than blowing through a bunch of shirts. One other thing that you can adjust is your saturation. A lot of that is done with the photo quality, so maybe you should leave that at 0 at first and then change your photo quality from normal to high and photo and that kind of stuff, or quality. You can change those settings as you go through. If you don't want to keep going through these settings every single time and remembering which to change, you go up to your presets. As you can see, I have a few here, and save current settings as a preset. If you click that, it will bring up another box, and you can name this preset whatever you want and make it available for only this printer. So you can change it to Cosmos Ink or Sublimation Printing, and it will keep all of those settings so you don't have to go through them every time. My suggestion is go through them anyway. As you can tell, I'll show you one thing that I normally do. Presets, I go to Cosmos Ink Final. Changes my Adobe. See, this saturation is set way too high. I like my brightness at 5. Color matching should be all set. And I'm actually gonna save current settings as preset. I'm gonna change this because I want to fix that Cosmos Ink one that I had set with the saturation way too high. Only this printer, and hit OK. Now it's ready to print. You can go ahead and hit print and print that document out, whatever it is that you're working on. I'm going to cancel this, get rid of Affinity, and I'm going to bring up Silhouette. Here's your Silhouette Studio. One thing that you want to be sure of with Silhouette, your matte size must equal your print size. You cannot print 13 by 19 to the best of my knowledge on a Silhouette. I believe 12 by 12 is the biggest matte. Someone correct me down below if that's the case, but I'm just going to do this for example. Open a recent document I have. This is my mug template for the dog. We used her as a good example just because we knew the colors on this image. You know, the whites would come out good. We'd see the blacks. So that's the reason we use this. We'll go to File, Print, and you'll see when the print logo pops up, or the print box pops up, you'll see that it's a whole different looking box than one you just saw. This is more PC looking. As you guys know, our Macs are completely different, but this is maybe more old school. Select the proper printer. I'm going to select my preset that you guys saw me do before, Cosmos Ink. And right here, these are the little changes that you're going to need to look for. Color matching, Epson color controls. Looks the same, right? It's close. Paper handling, we leave that alone. Cover page, no cover page. Print settings, this one's a little bit different. Make sure the paper source is right, your media type, bright white paper, high quality plain paper, or premium presentation matte. Some people say they like glossy. I never got a good result with any of the glossies, so I stick with those 3. Plain paper, high quality plain paper, and premium presentation paper matte. Print quality, I have mine set all the way high on this. I don't know why this goes back to this all the time, but I'll change it back to normal. So see, even though I have a preset here, it didn't save that. It did save mirror image, so that's important. We go to color options, manual settings, just like the other one, advanced, Adobe RGB, gamma 2.2, and then, like I said, brightness I have at 5. I just like a little brighter image. I feel like my images are coming out super dark right now, unless I'm doing a mug. So I've just changed it. And obviously 2-sided printing we want off. And basically, guys, that's about it on that. These settings are exactly the same no matter what program you're printing from. Whether it's Affinity, whether it's Silhouette, whether it's GIMP, or Photoshop, Shortcuts a lot, any of that stuff. I will tell you guys from experience, Shortcuts a lot and GIMP didn't give me great outputs. Affinity has been my print of choice, and the reason I don't stick with Silhouette unless I'm doing 8.5 by 11, just because I can't print 13 by 19, so I didn't bother. I went with Affinity. It is now March 20th 2020, If you guys are watching this later than this, it may not be in effect, but we got a 90-day free trial for any of the Affinity products, which is Affinity Photo or Affinity Designer, or you can purchase it for 50% off. Guys, that's only 25 bucks for life. So I feel for $50 you get a designer and the photo, and you can adjust. As you can see in this image, I just left it square, and now I've been playing with Affinity Photo. I'm gonna do a nice outline so my edges feather on the mug or on a shirt, and you don't have those hard edges showing up on your shirt. I'm just gonna try a few things, play around with it, but I hope this video has helped you guys. Please feel free to comment below. Please let me know what you found about it. If you have questions, I'll try and answer them, and hopefully you guys get some great photos and great prints coming out, and love to see what you've done. Post them below after you do it. Let me know how it worked out. Thank you so much.